We have a full length coming out next year and early next year probably. And a 7 inch coming out with Get Dancing. It's actually two A sides. Get Dancing on A side one and Ooh Ooh Rudy on A side two. And those will be coming out for Christmas.
This is Rob Ruckus.
Hey, this is Kate Clover.
Hey guys, it's Nick Collins here from The Effect and Better Strangers.
Hi, my name's Madeline Rose.
Hey, it's Ben McKelvey.
It's Tim Howard here from Mike and the Mechanics.
Hello, I'm Amanda Lehman.
I'm Billy Harvey.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Casey Sampson from the band Twist Stop.
Hey, it's Tony from Fastball.
Hello, everybody. My name is Isaiah Mitchell.
Hey guys, it's Matt here from the White Lakes.
You're listening to Almost Famous Magazine.
Come join us for this interview. Check it out, Almost Famous Magazine.
Hey everyone, welcome back to The Hang right here on Almost Famous Magazine. I'm your host, Scott Saldinger. Thank you for joining us. The Hang is where we get to know musicians from around the world, learning their stories and getting to know them well beyond just the music. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and share. If you've been with us before, have you told your friends? Please do. It always helps out. Also, you can take The Hang with you wherever you get your podcasts, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, or more. Today on The Hang, I am thrilled because everybody knows that I'm a huge ska fan, to be joined by Monique Powell, lead singer of the ska band Save Ferris, which I've always wanted. I've always wanted to talk to you because I've following you for so many years. So this is a great day. They're famous for their iconic rendition of Come Out Eileen by Dexy's Midnight Runners, but also as The World Is New and Xmas Blue, which I hope they'll be performing during the band's upcoming Happy Skalidaze. It almost sounds like a salad dressing. I got to be honest with you. It almost sounds like something you'd put on a meal. Tour beginning December 2nd. Now, the band's going to kick things off with Yachtly Crew for a special holiday performance at LA's Peacock Theater on, keep me honest here, November 29th, if I got that right. Plus, they're releasing a new 7-inch featuring Get Dancing and Oh Rudy. It's the second installment of their limited edition vinyl series. And there's a new music video. Monique, welcome. Did I miss anything?
No, you got it all. Very thorough. Thank you. That was a great introduction.
You've got a lot going. Thank you. You've got a lot going on.
I do.
And I'm super
so
excited. Well, thank you for getting up for this.
Of course.
It'll be nap time after. We'll expend a lot of energy together. I'm super excited because I followed the band from your early days, and I'm a big ska fan going back to Madness, like back in the day when everything from them was new and fresh to getting a chance to see them at Punk Rock Bowling and other places. So I'm excited to get a chance to kind of dig deep into the band, but let's get everybody excited for the Happy Skalidaze. I'm telling you, you know what? I didn't Google it, but I bet you there's a recipe for that somewhere. Tour. What can people expect from the band on this holiday tour?
Well, although the title of the tour is just one more exhausting ska pun in the entire story of the scene, you will not be seeing any more ska puns on that tour, but some holiday songs, some new music, and of course the oldies but goodies. But our shows always delight, and we put on a great show. So it's going to be great.
I mean, you had I think 2 singles drop this year. Tell me about new music. Are there things that haven't been released yet that people get a chance to hear?
Oh yeah, for sure. We have a full length coming out next year and early next year probably, and a 7-inch coming out with Get Dancing. It's actually 2 A sides. Get Dancing on A side 1 and Ooh Ooh Rudy on A side 2. And those will be coming out for Christmas, or that will be coming out for Christmas. That's the second in the series of 7 inches that we're releasing, 7-inch vinyl that we're releasing.
Where can people get those? Like, are they mail order only? I'm going to make sure we have all the links below because they've got to have them. I'm going to have to pick up one for my niece's collection.
Yeah, they are mail order only as of now because they're very limited. So you can get them at saveferris.com/merch, or just go to saveferris.com and you'll figure it out.
You find it on your own. Well, I'll definitely put that down below. Tell me about the album. I mean, I'm excited. I wasn't aware you had a full length coming out.
Yeah.
What you've had sporadic releases in the last, I'd say, what, 8-9 years. What brought on a whole new album? I'm excited about the creativity.
Well, I've been working on this full length with Michael Bradford for some time now. And we pretty much had it done like 6 months ago. We just have a couple more songs that we want to write to complete the album, but Get Dancing is on there. Lights Out in the Reptile House is also on there, will be on there. And it's going to be great. It's so good. It's really good. I'm very proud of it.
What's it going to be titled? Do you have a title yet?
I don't. I initially had a title planned, but I don't know now that the album is written if that title will be appropriate. It was going to be called The Silence Before the Upbeat. So it might be titled that. Who knows?
Is there any type of theme to the writing on this album? I mean, what is it that you've been wanting to say that is going to go on the album?
There's really no theme. I've experimented with new sounds and new styles for the band. I feel like it's time. But the most important thing for me in this process has been to maintain the integrity of the sound of the band. Who knows if I did that? We'll see.
Well,
see what people say.
I mean, look, ska has come a long way in the last 30, 40 years. So what I think is amazing these days, going back to bands like Madness, for say, there are some very classic ska bands that are creating new music these days that are just as fresh and vital as what they did before, and I think that's great. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm always interested in how people kind of got their start, right? Like if you go back in the way back time machine, when you first, that moment that, that spark, did you find music or did music find you? And what was that feeling like that got you to becoming an actual musician and performer?
My dad loved to sing and he had a really beautiful voice, but he was very shy. And so I grew up hearing him sing to my sister and my mom and I, but that was kind of it. And I originally wanted to be a dancer and I studied for a number of years. And then at about 11 years old, I was like, I think I'm done with dance. And so the next indicated step was, let's see about singing. And I had an elementary school teacher named Judy Easterly who really, I think she was a singer herself and really took it upon herself to nurture the talents of her students and would put on a talent show every year. And she did that for many, many, many years before I was there and after I was there. And that's sort of like kind of where the bug attached. And then my parents put me in voice lessons and the woman teaching me became yet another inspired woman for me. Her name was Marilyn Cronin, and she was an opera singer. And one day I heard a cassette tape of her demos. She was singing just Italian arias. I was like, I want to do that. So from the age of 11 until my freshman year in college, I studied classically. So I didn't know I was going to be in a band until I was probably 18 years old.
Well, I mean, you've got the dance background, you've got classical background. What drew you to ska? What was it about this music that really attached itself to you?
There were a few things. I have an older sister, and she introduced me to the Specials at about 8 years old, and they were all over the radio, all over alternative radio at that time, like Ghost Town and Monkey Man, and really great songs. And I loved them. And then I was growing up in Orange County in Southern California, and all my friends were starting ska bands. And so aside from going to, because there was like this great all ages music scene in Orange County at the time in the early 90s. And so I was going to punk shows, and then I was going to my friends' ska shows. And then my friends were like, "You sing, why don't you be in my band?" And I was like, "Huh, that kind of makes sense." And the next thing I knew, I was leaving school to go on the road with Save Ferris. So
Nice. I mean, yeah, there was Orange County's kind of was the ska revival epicenter, right? At one time. What do you think set that scene apart from other kind of ska, third wave ska movements that happened, in other cities around the country, or really the resurgence of ska in general? What made OC special?
That's the only thing I can think of, is that, like I said, we had this scene down here because there were all of these all ages clubs that we could all go to. And there were so many of us getting into ska bands. And it's Los Angeles adjacent. So it was really easy for like record executives to come down and check us out. And we were playing LA all the time. And so it just started this buzz. But I also think K-Rock had a lot to do with it. Rodney on the Rock, Rodney Bingenheimer started playing us. And that was where the Specials premiered, and Madness back in the day.
Yeah.
So Rodney was sort of like a hit maker. And and then K-Rock got onto the buzz, which they were really good at the time, and started playing us in full rotation before we were even signed. So
yeah, I know K-Rock had a massive impact on so many bands. I mean, that was like just like WBAB on Long Island for the East Coast, K-Rock is kind of the West Coast equivalent for sure, that really helped launch some careers. I'm curious, you've toured with a wide arrangement of different acts, right?
Yes.
Ska, punk, pop, you name it. Looking back on that touring and that history, was there like did you have a transformational performance that was like you're there, you're in the moment, you're in flow state, everything is moving in the direction that you want it to, and suddenly you realize this changes everything, this is our moment?
There were a few shows that I can remember. One was a free show at Universal Studios outside, and so many people showed up that we played 2 songs, and then we were rushed out of there because they were afraid there was going to be a riot. It was like helicopters and everything. That was like wild. There was that moment. There were different moments throughout it all. It was like playing these giant radio shows, opening for like The Cure and David Bowie and like my heroes, for like 57,000 people at WHFS Festival in DC. And 70,000 people at Viva Latino in Latin America. And there were just these great moments.
Yeah. Did you have one? I mean, did you have one that just was like, this was your goal, right? This is where you're trying to get to, right? Did you ever have that moment where it just kind of overcame you and you're like, this is it? Like I reached I reached my goal, right? Was there a musical moment? Maybe it was during a show, maybe it was creating something, but that like I've arrived. Have you ever had that sensation or feeling?
I mean, I've had it quite a bit because within the last 10 years, I've really tried to remain just very present. I don't know if I was very present in the 90s, only because it was such a whirlwind and I was very unaware. I was not very self-aware. And so it was kind of like play 364 shows in 1 year. But there are, definitely moments where I feel like, filming 10 Things I Hate About You and playing Riot Fest in Chicago and all the Warped Tours that we did on the main stage. Yeah, I just remember like when Come On Eileen got played on K-Rock in the middle of the day, I was in my car. I had an 89 Camaro. It was my first car. And was driving, and I remember hearing our song on the radio, and I pulled over and I cried because at that moment I thought, yeah, everything's going to change now.
That's awesome. That's awesome. It's interesting that, ska has had, along with punk, I think in the last 10 years, just this really big resurgence, right? And it could be anything from, the social climate, the political climate, relevance to kind of the feeling of the movement. But it's brought in a whole new audience. Like, what's it like when you see either diehard fans bringing their kids or just young people who are really getting into your music and really enjoying the experience you're giving to them? How's that make you feel? And what's that like for you?
It was weird in the beginning. When I first brought the band back and we really started touring in 2017, I was like, this is so odd. Like, I had no idea that kids this young would like this band. And it was super cool. Still is. They bring me like little bracelets that they made and stuff, and girls are screaming and crying in the front row, and it's just so great because it reminds me what I was like when I was that age. I was such a fan myself, and so I try and cover a wide girth when it comes to our demographic and the quality of our shows.
And we've really come a long way since the 90s and the early 2000s in being able to connect and communicate with one another. And it's kind of a little different now. Do you find that because there's just more access to artists and that ability to connect digitally as opposed to, someone standing outside of a stage door to show, do you find yourself experiencing this in a different way, connecting with your audience and getting feedback and stories?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I really, thing about ska and punk is that it's always gone through waves and ebbs and flows, but it's never lost its underground presence. And so these bands may not be played on the radio, but they're still drawing people to their shows. And that was that's always been the situation with Save Ferris, is that ever since I brought the band back, we've been able to draw people to our shows. And I do think that you're right. I think the online presence, the fact that people aren't just getting their information from the radio anymore. They're getting their information from a broad, like blanket of sources that really has helped the scene a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, the last couple of years at Punk Rock Bowling, to see the access that people have had to just get a chance to know an artist, right? Just to get to beyond the, hey, there's someone on a stage. This is a human being,
Yeah.
right? And the way that people are able to communicate, I think it's really, it's been transformative, because I think it gives artists another ear, so to say, right?
Yeah.
Because you're closer to the fan, right? It's not maybe what you see in the press or people report, but it's, you actually get that feedback. And I think that's a great aspect.
One of the greatest shows I've played as of late was a festival in Slovenia. We played a couple months ago, and there were no barricades. As a matter of fact, they had a step that was just kind of like a step down from the stage that encouraged people to come up and dance and crowd surf, and like everybody was so lovely and polite and joyous and careful with each other, and it was such a beautiful environment for punk and ska bands, for punk and ska. It was like so refreshing, and I feel like that's a direction we're going into, where like people understand that how precious this is, this moment in which we're experiencing this together. It's not me versus you or us versus them, band versus fan. It's everybody is in this together. It really reminded me about why I do what I do.
You just gave me a little bit of chills, because you mentioned that you performed in Slovenia, and we had a band on, it's got to be 7-8 months ago, Psycho Clockwork. It's a psychobilly band from Slovenia, of all places. Any chance they were at that festival? Do you remember?
Not that I can recall, but I love psychobilly. Oh my God. Love it. Oh, yeah. I can't remember if they were there, but we played with Refused, who were one of my favorite bands. Yeah.
Any chance the Baboon Show was there?
They were.
Oh my God. Okay. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm really excited. So they were supposed to be at Punk Rock Bowling, and I mean, we don't have to go into details about the current climate and getting in the States, but they weren't able, they were advised not to come over, and they missed it. And they were one of our first Punk Rock Bowling hangs for the whole festival. We did about 14 episodes, and they're so delightful. And I mean, I'm so bummed I didn't get to see them. What was that like? They're an amazing band.
Oh, they're so cool. I can't, like, I watched the entire set with the singer of Refused. Like, we're super fans. Like, love them. They're great. They have their shit together. They really know what they're doing. Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
So, really quick, is Punk Rock Bowling canceled this year, or is that just a fallacy?
No, that sadly it is. They're taking the year off. Okay. And they have the reasons. I mean, we can all speculate, but they have the reasons. Last year was incredible for the 25th anniversary, and I can't wait for them to come back.
Yeah, me too. I go every year. So
yeah.
Except last year.
Were you there last year?
I wasn't there last year. I didn't get to go because I was in Europe. But typically, I'm there every year.
What a shame you were in Europe.
I know.
What a shame.
Playing with Baboon Show.
Oh man, yeah, no, it was. I mean, we started covering them a couple of years ago for Punk Rock Bowling, and I got to tell you, of all the festivals you can go to, at least here in the States, right? European festivals have their own flavor, and it's a different experience for sure. But of all the festivals here in the States, I don't know of one that feels more like a family reunion than Punk Rock Bowling does.
Yeah, I mean, it took the place of Warped Tour. Like, Warped Tour was that family reunion for all of us, which we came together as musicians from different genres. We came together as people, as musicians, and fans came together every year for those shows. And now that there's not Warped Tour in the same capacity as it used to be, but yeah, punk rock bowling sort of took the place of that for me, at least.
Yeah, no, I'm bummed, but we actually, I want to make sure we remember it for this year's for next year. So we're coming up with some ideas of maybe we can do some coverage, even though the festival's not going on. Maybe we can do some look backs or something. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah, I totally think that it deserves getting some coverage next year. I'm a person who has no sense of fear. It left my body a long time ago. So I will take risks that maybe, from time to time may or may not be the smartest risk to take. I'm always curious, was there ever a risk that you took, either creatively or whatever, that could have gone badly, but it turned into like a satisfying success and taught you a lesson?
You went out a little bit for a second there. Your camera went out, but
I'm sorry.
Can you rephrase that?
Yeah. So, I'm all about, like, I'm not risk averse at all, right? But I'm always curious about the risks that artists take, right? Has there ever been a risk that you took that it had huge potential to go really bad, but it turned out better than you expected? And was there a lesson that you learned that you took away from that, taking that risk?
Yeah. Fighting for this band to come back. There were a lot of people who did not want it to happen. And then when I was granted the name in all exclusivity, a lot of people wanted me to fail. But there were a lot of people who wanted Save Ferris. There were more people who wanted Save Ferris to come back. And because of that, I fought for it. I won. And I continue to, take this band places it's never been. And that was very hard. It was like the hardest thing I've ever done. There was a lot of abuse. Like I still have a little bit of like PTSD from it, but I just keep barreling through. And it just character building, just builds character, Can't make everybody love you.
You know what? You can die very unhappy if you try to do that, right?
It's true because, not everybody's going to love you and not everybody's going to have nice things to say. But it's important to focus on the people that do like you, that love you, to focus on the positive things that people have to say, and to really celebrate even the tiniest triumphs. Because it's easy for me to get bogged down in the negativity. Very easy. I don't do social media. I hire people who do that for me. That was very difficult for me, was the social media. And, the abuse that I went through in 2015, it was really like sexist and sizist and just nasty. But that made me go, all right, this is not something I need to focus on. I need to focus on the music and the fans. And so that's how I keep it positive.
No, I like that. Yeah, I think that's one of the downsides of social media is it leads to the propensity for toxicity, because people can hide behind the device and not be a real human about how they truly are, right? Absolutely. It doesn't allow for, you can be negative with authenticity, but if you're hiding behind something that makes it impossible for others to reach you and to stand up for themselves, fight for themselves, or have an opposing view, it's not worth the energy.
It's not worth the energy. And there's so many bots out there, like, I don't even, it's like, in order for certain artists to excel, they have to depress other artists and their online presence, and this competitive nature just doesn't work for me. So I focus on my band. I focus on the people who want to play good music. I focus on people who are positive and loving and have like concept that there is more than just like playing in a band. There's more to life than that. It's not, for me, it's not about, I know a lot of artists say this, but for me, it truly is not about the fame. Like, people may think that I'm stuck up because I don't do a lot of signings and sign autographs and stuff like that, but it's because I'm just like really shy and scared, and I don't love the idol worship part of it. Just like that show in Slovenia, that made me inspired because it was us doing this together. We're all a part of this together. I'm not, to be placed on this specific pedestal while you stand down here. Kind of brought us all to the same level, which it really summarized how I feel, because I'm not just an artist, I'm also a fan. I go and see shows, and I love bands, and I celebrate music just like I did when I was 17, 16.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. I mean, that's one of the reasons we do this.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, a lot of other people can try and tell your story,
Yeah.
but you tell it the best.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we're all made of the same stuff.
Yeah.
We all bleed the same. We all feel the same. We all go through similar pains. We're on this journey together. We actually need one another more than we sometimes are willing to acknowledge.
Absolutely. And it's part of the reason why I don't take a political stance publicly. I'm very self-aware and well-read when it comes to, the state of politics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't take a public stance because I feel like music is that one uniting force that can bring us together, regardless of who, we vote for or da 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 da. I want to see everyone, regardless of whether or not we have the same opinions, as flesh and blood human beings. And ultimately, deep down inside, we all want the same things. We all fear the same stuff. We just want to be safe and to feel connected. And so that's kind of where I'm at with that.
No, I think that's great. I mean, especially mentioning that, the whirlwind you went through in the 90s, and it was just this cyclone of activity that was a blur, and to find pause to engage yourself for self-awareness and to elevate yourself emotionally. I think, that is a hard enough hill to climb in life to begin with.
Yeah.
That many don't. So I certainly applaud you from kind of getting out of that storm and finding your calmness.
Yeah. No, I've definitely been in very dark places I thought I could never come out of, but it took just a tiniest bit of effort and just a sliver of hope, and a little bit of time, baby steps every day, and to make choices that might seem scary, like, not going on my phone to check my Instagram, not making that the most important thing in my life. The most important thing in my life are my experiences with my people I love and with my cat, and making beautiful things. I'm starting a YouTube channel called Powell Tools, where, we talk about, so it's part podcast, part instructionals, part lifestyle, and we're going to talk a lot about mental health and how I pulled myself up out of that dark hole, because I learned a lot of tools.
I can't wait to see that. I think that's fabulous. I can't wait. As a matter of fact, when you get that all launched and everything, we might just do this again and just talk about that.
Oh, that would be so
I
great.
think that would be
I
fabulous.
would love that.
Because I'm a huge advocate for mental health and a huge advocate for physical health too. Especially, it's known out there. I mean, I had prostate cancer last year and have become an advocate for men to become more emotionally connected with one another so that they can become responsible for their health, because so many men do not pay attention to their own health if they don't have some sort of partner in their life.
Correct.
And you're always better figuring out your problems sooner than later.
Absolutely.
So I'm really,
that's what happened with my dad.
I'm a big advocate for that.
That's what happened with my dad. He'd go and see the doctor, and the doctor would say, "How are you doing today, Mr. Powell?" And he would say, "Oh, I'm fine." And if my mom wasn't in the room, there was no one there to say, he's having urinary issues. And so my dad had prostate cancer that metastasized, unfortunately. And that was very, very hard. Very hard.
Oh, I can imagine. Mm-hmm. I do, I get calls from people who have been diagnosed, and I try to help people kind of understand things, because I hate to learn that people found out too late, because there are many things that can creep up on you, but that's one where, men have control over figuring that thing out, and the sooner you do, the better. So yeah. I'm sorry about your dad, for sure, I'm excited for.
I'm so pleased that you're okay. I'm so grateful.
Yeah. Well, thank you. It was scary for a quick second, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to address this as I do everything in life, and we're going to hit it head on, and we're going to get through this. And it's been actually a great year for me since my operation. So I'm and look, I'm here. I'm with you. And you know what? This just became about me, and it shouldn't be. It's about you.
It's okay.
So I've got a couple.
It's okay. I know about you. I love it. You're fantastic. You're a survivor. Yes. Let's celebrate that.
We both are in our own. We are both in our own ways, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I'm curious, because of your comments though on your social media and things like that. When you started the band, mm-hmm. right? You did it to make music. There were people who took care of all this other stuff, and you were there like, okay, we're going to write, we're going to perform. Now we live in a business where it is, a 24/7, 365, be a creative, put out content, all of this other stuff.
Yeah.
What are your feelings on the business these days? And how do you work with your creativity to overcome some of the challenges of the content universe we live in?
Well, like I said, I'm starting my own thing. And that inspires mm-hmm. me. What doesn't inspire me is like me looking at footage of myself and editing all day long, just looking at me. It's a good thing my boyfriend is a filmmaker, and he can do that for us, which makes me very happy. I'm very grateful. Making videos and stuff like that. It's not my favorite thing to do, but like, it's kind of like just an icky part of a job. Like if I was a nurse, there would be things that I wouldn't want to do, like wiping people's butts, but that doesn't mean you don't love your job as a nurse, So there's icky things I have to do, and they're not as bad as wiping people's butts. So I'm okay.
My niece is a nurse, and she feels exactly the same way. She said exactly the same thing. So I totally get where you're coming from. And trust me,
you're still a nurse.
Yes.
So amen. Like the world would not exist were it not for nurses. They have such important jobs.
Absolutely.
But yeah, they probably love their jobs. There's certain icky parts of it. They're just like, I could do without that, but I got to do it. It's part of the job. So I have a much easier job in comparison than a nurse, So.
Well, and you have a boyfriend who does your editing.
Thank God.
Yeah, you have a boyfriend who does your editing. I do my own editing, and I got to stare at this all the time, and I'm like, just moving on.
So. I just want to be a creative. Like all I ever wanted to do was perform. Because I feel like that's my gift. And that's how I give back to the world. You know, that's how I create joy or contemplation in people. That's my gift. Editing is not my gift. You know?
Lead with your strengths.
Yeah, it's not the thing that I've like worked to develop since I was 11 years old, you know? There's a learning curve, and I know how to do it all, but I'd rather be writing songs, you know, or playing shows, because that's what I'm good at.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're doing both of those. I'm super bummed. I'm in Dallas. I'm super bummed you're not going to be in Dallas on this tour.
Me too.
But I got to get out to LA. Between Sharif Dumani, Giz Laszlo, and another slew of other artists, I've met so many people that I've just got to come out. We've got to go out and hang for a weekend. So
that would be cool. Will you just contact me? Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, look, I went to film school, so I got to meet your boyfriend.
Amazing. Yeah. He put out a film last year, a documentary. Yeah, and it's about his dad's band Juke. They were a glam band in the 70s, a British glam band in the 70s. And so he did a film, and we cover a Juke song that's on the B-side of the 7-inch that's coming out next month. It's called Ooh,
awesome.
Rudy.
Wait, the other A-side.
The other A-side. Yeah.
The other A-side.
Yes, I didn't want there to be A-side, B-side, because I feel like they're equally both wonderful. So
it's like a battery. It's a double A. And those songs, because I've heard them, will energize you the same way the battery would. So I think that's great. This has been awesome. I've got a couple more things that we're going to wrap up, because I know I've taken a fair amount of time, but you've had a great career. You've been able to perform with other artists, but being the creative that you are, right? Has there been someone that, if you had a chance that you've not worked with before, to get in a studio and spend a day being creative? Maybe you write lyrics, maybe you learn from something from them, or you create a song together. Is there someone that would be like totally cool that you'd be like, if this happened, it would be so amazing?
Well, Refused is not going to be a band much longer. It would definitely be them. But I do listen to all the Idols records, and I close my eyes and I think, what was their process when they were writing these brilliant, brilliant songs? And so if I could just sit in on that experience, I would be like, I don't know. There's no words. I love them so much.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. When you're not creating ska, right? Mm-hmm. And you're at the gym, you're taking a walk, you're relaxing, you're just listening to music, maybe it's in the car. Who are a couple of artists that you really love listening to? And what is it about them that connects you to their music?
Well, like I said, Idols and Refused, obviously. But, there's that is like the oldies but goodies. Like, I'm all up into 70s glam, always have been, always will be, a Bowie fan, Prince fan, 80s, specials from the 80s. Lots of like new African artists. Not necessarily punk or ska, but I've been really digging into like rhythmic attributes of songs and music, and how we connect rhythmically to a song. And so my mom was Moroccan, she was North African, and so Moroccan music was always a big part of growing up for me. Yeah.
Do we have another hour? Because I love Morocco. It's one of my favorite places. I'm thinking about retiring there, actually.
Where?
Essaouira.
Whoa, we have family from there. My mom was from Casablanca, but yeah, my whole family. Like I have a huge Moroccan family, so very close to them.
Oh my God! Look, my devastated. We had an amazing Moroccan restaurant here in Dallas that closed, and it was the closest thing you were going to get to eating in a Medina somewhere and getting like a really great chicken
tagine.
Tagine chicken.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chicken
Oh, I
tagine.
miss it. Oh my
Well,
God.
when you come to
Yeah.
LA, I'll
But
do a Moroccan feast for you. I love to cook. I learned all the good stuff from my
okay,
mom.
we're gonna get off this call and I'm booking I'm booking a ticket. I'm booking a ticket after I get my other computer fixed that just took a nosedive before we started, which is why I don't have my usual background. I will definitely be trying to make some plans to get out there.
I promised
for sure.
some friends that I'll
All right.
do a Moroccan feast for them, so we'll do like a Moroccan party. We'll do it.
Oh, okay. Name the date.
Yeah.
I'm there. Monique, this has been incredible. I seriously, we're going to do this again, for sure. And I'm loving the idea of your new podcast, and I can't wait to check that out. But everybody who's stuck with us this long, because we've gone like from here to here to here, a couple tangents there. Make sure that you get out to the tour, right?
Yes.
Your Skalidaze Tour.
Happy Skalidaze. Fancy ska pun, because you know how much I love them. Not.
Will you cover maybe a traditional Happy Holidays, but as Happy Skalidaze? Maybe that's one you could add a fake snow machine or something. I think your first show's in Fresno. They never get snow. I was exiled there once for 14 months. Trust me, I know Fresno. That's a whole nother.
First
that's
show
a whole nother.
It's at the Peacock Theater on the 29th.
Oh. But then you guys go to Fresno, right? Because I think on the second I thought I saw Fresno. But
we go to Fresno.
You know,
all tours lead to Fresno. That's just a thing. It's just a known fact. Tour starts in San Francisco, actually, on the 2nd. So.
Yeah. But I wish you guys all the luck. I'm going to put all the links below, please. As I tell everyone, you can't create art without support. Whether it's emotional support or financial support, go to the shows, buy tickets, buy merch. I don't even have a shirt yet. I'm going to have to go to the website because I can't make a show. Get yourself the music, show them how much you appreciate it so that they can continue to move on and create more, because there's an album coming out that y'all better pay attention to and buy too. So please, go out. Holidays are coming. Make great gifts. Monique, I really appreciate you spending time with us today.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed meeting you.
This has been a lot of fun, and now I'm hungry. It's like lunchtime here, and I'm hungry. So I'm going to be thinking of Moroccan food all right. Everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. Really, we appreciate you joining all of these great conversations. We'll see you soon, but most important, in these times, be good to one another. Just be good. That's enough to ask for. So thanks so much, Monique. It's been great.
Thank you.